Hi everyone, welcome to Gnan Cloud Garage. In this session, I'm going to talk about how to downgrade virtual machine hardware version in ESXi 8. Okay, before jumping to the main topic, how to downgrade virtual hardware version, let's quickly recap what are all the available ESX version and corresponding virtual machine hardware versions. So as we are aware, ESXi start with a 2.x. Before ESX 2.x, we have a GSX, Ground Storm X, and later we have a Elastic Sky X. And ESX, we have a versions 2, 3, 4, 5, 5.1, 5.56, and nowadays we have the latest version ESXi 8. When you see ESX2 series edition, 2.x means there may be a 2 ESX2 and ESX2 with the latest patches, update 1, update 2, and so on. Within the ESX2, whenever we create a virtual machine, that virtual machine hardware version is 3. And similarly, ESX3 hardware version is 4 and ESX4 hardware version is 7. But this hardware version is not equivalent to the ESX version, it's slightly higher version. And even ESXi 5.0 have a hardware version 8 and 5.1. Within the 5.1, again hardware version is increased to 9 and 5.5 has hardware version 10 and ESXi 6.0 running with virtual machine hardware version is 11. In general, the hardware version we can verify from the login to the vCenter server, select the virtual machines in the right pane. When you select the summary tab, we can see the hardware version. For example, let me quickly log into our lab system. Let's say, for example, we are within a vCenter 8. And even if we select the ESXi host 3, our ESX version is 8. When I select any one virtual machine, let's say this is one of the HCP host CP VM, and this VM hardware version is, you can see the compatibility ESXi 8.0 and later, and VM version is 20. That means this virtual machine hardware version is 20. For example, if I select the ESXi host 7.0.3, that means 7.0 update 3. For this 7.0 update 3, when you create any virtual machine, just in the right pane, you can select the virtual machine, right pane, go to the summary tab, and you can see the virtual machine hardware version is VM version 19, because this virtual machine running under the ESXi 7. It's not under the ESX 8. That way version VM hardware version is showing a slightly lower version. The same versions information only I highlighted in our slide. So same way in ESXi 6.0, we have the version next to following version is ESXi 6.5 and it have virtual machine hardware version 13, and 6.7 and 6.7 update 2 have a slightly updated versions 14 and 15. And similarly, when comes to the ESXi 7.0, the initially VM hardware version is 17, and with the update 1, it's 18, and update 2, 19. Update 2, we can also call 7.0.2. Even in the 7.0.3, update 3 also hardware version is still the same, and the latest version ESXi 8.0 and update 1, the virtual machine hardware version is 2.0. And currently we've already verified this hardware version 19 and hardware version 20 within our lab vCenter. And even the other hardware versions also we can see within our lab vCenter. Suppose if I expand any other ESXi host, suppose if I select the one of the VM master one ends with master one, this VM also VM hardware version is 15. So that means 15 means it's matching with the 6.7 update 2. Okay, and same way, even if you want to see the slightly lower version, for example vCenter 01, our vCenter 01 is running with the vCenter is Photon OS, and it is hardware compatibility virtual machine version is 10. Okay, so that is the vCenter hardware version. Okay, so hope you got an idea how we can validate the virtual machine hardware version. Now we can jump into the actual topic. The actual topic is how to downgrade the virtual machine hardware version. Generally, within our vCenter, we have a concept of upgrade option. For example, if I select any virtual machine, go to the upgrade compatibility. When you select the compatibility, there is option for upgrade compatibility. Currently, this version is already latest version. There is no higher version. For example, just for our testing purpose, if I am creating one test VM, let's say VM name is test VM, test 01. Okay, for this test VM, I'm just going with a default configurations. No, not going to do any modification. Just go with a default options. Finish. When I create a new virtual machine, the virtual machine name is test 01. And when you go to the summary tab, this test VM version is version 19. Okay, but currently this VM is running under the ESXi 7. When I select the ESX 7 0.1, it is 7.0.3. That is the reason the test VM by default it's get the latest version 19. Suppose this same virtual machine, if I migrate to the ESXi 8 version, which is ESX3. When I migrated to the ESX3, the migration wise, no issues. We are successfully migrated to the ESX3. But in the ESX3 test 01, still the version is 19. If I want to upgrade this virtual machine version, generally the procedure is we have to power off the virtual machine, go to the compatibility and select the option to upgrade compatibility. When we select the upgrade compatibility, click on yes. Within fraction of seconds, it is going to upgrade our virtual machine hardware version from 19 to 20. So this is how we can upgrade the virtual machine version from lower version to higher version. So just now we observed our test 01 virtual hardware version was 19. We upgraded to 20. But if we want to downgrade, currently when I right click the virtual machine, if you want to downgrade within the compatibility, there is no downgrade option by default. Okay, so that is the reason we have to validate how we can downgrade. And also this virtual machine currently running on ESXi 8 version. In future, if I plan to migrate this test 01 VM to previous ESXi host, either ESX2 or 1, when I select the ESX01, there is a error message. The virtual machine version is not compatible with the version of the ESXi 01. That means because the version is already updated with the latest version, we are unable to migrate it to the ESX7. Okay, because ESX7 virtual machine hardware version is only 19. So a higher version we cannot able to migrate it to the lower version of ESXi 7. So during this scenario or in this symptom, to resolve this one, we have to downgrade the version. That is the one symptom. Let's back to the slide. We're going to observe another symptoms. So how to downgrade VM hardware version? One symptom is the VM version is not compatible with the version of ESX. Just now we verified when we are trying to migrate. Even another scenario is a virtual machine does not boot after upgrading the virtual hardware version. There is a possibility. Sometime we have a virtual machine version 19, we upgraded to virtual hardware version 20. After upgrade, sometime it may not boot. So what is the solution? Because the previously virtual machine was up and running fine, but suddenly it's not able to boot. The only solution is we can plan to downgrade the hardware version. Okay. And another symptom, cannot migrate or power on your virtual machine created on a new version of ESXi to older version. Like a new version of ESX means from ESXi 8 to, if you are trying to migrate to ESX 7 or you are trying to power on the virtual machines ESXi 8 virtual machine, you are trying to power on a ESX 7. During that scenario also, we are unable to power on or unable to migrate. There will be a compatibility issue. So to resolve these symptoms, there is a solution. So the solutions are not only one solution, we have a multiple options. So based on your environment, you can choose any one solution to resolve this hardware version compatibility issues. So now I'm going to explain how to downgrade the virtual machine hardware version. We understand the ESX versions and corresponding virtual machine hardware version. And secondly, we understand the symptoms. Now, thirdly, we are going to validate the resolution steps. So resolution steps, we have four options. Any one options you can use to resolve. Okay, no need to apply all options, only one option is needed. For example, the first option is revert to a snapshot created before upgrading a virtual machine hardware. If you have a virtual machine hardware, if you have any existing snapshot, you can revert to the snapshot. Okay, this option, if you want to verify, let me create a one test VM here. Let's say ESX01, I am creating a test VM. We already have test 01. I am creating another VM test 02. Okay, so test 02, I'm going with the default options. I'm not going to do the modifications. Let's say test2 is created. When I select the test2, this virtual machine version is 90. But lower version, we are able to migrate it to the higher version of ESX without any issues. Right click the VM, go to the migrate, next, and select the latest version ESX3, next, and finish. Now test2 VM, we successfully migrated to the ESX3. But if we want to move back to the ESX1 again, same option, right click the VM, select migrate. When I click on next, when I choose the ESX1, it is compatibility is succeed. The reason is the test2 VM is still running with a 19 version. If I want to upgrade this virtual machine version from 19 to 20, the procedure is, we know, just compatibility upgrade. But here what I'm going to do is, before upgrade, if you have any snapshot, just better to create a one snapshot. Okay, I'm creating a snapshot, click on create. So snapshot creation is completed. When I select the VM, go to the monitor, tasks, you can see create virtual machine snapshot is completed. Now, when you create a snapshot, just right click the VM. Now you can upgrade. We have a solution to downgrade if you want to downgrade, we can revert a snapshot. We can test that one now. Compatibility, upgrade compatibility. When I click upgrade compatibility, our virtual machine version will be upgraded to 20. Okay, so click on OK. Summary tab, you can see virtual machine hardware version is 20. But if it is become a 20, if I plan to migrate it to the ESX1 again, we cannot migrate because there is a compatibility issue. Virtual machine is not compatible with the version of ESX01. Okay, so to resolve this solution, to resolve this one scenario, the only option is right click the virtual machine. You have to revert the snapshot. If you have a existing snapshot, there is an option to revert to latest snapshot. So let me select revert to latest snapshot, click on revert. Once we revert, this version will be changed to 19. Okay, this is the one method of solution I'm going to explain. Okay, so we already got an idea on first solution. Revert to a snapshot create before upgrading the virtual machine hardware. But some cases, if you do accidentally, you already upgraded, but somehow there is no snapshot. That means this option one is ruled out. It's not applicable. That scenario, we can verify the 4 options. Create a new virtual machine with the required hardware version and attach the existing disk from the VM. Attach the existing disk from the VM means, for example, this test2 VM is already downgraded to 19. Suppose if I want to upgrade, or else the test01 is already 20. If I want to downgrade the test01 to 19th version, the only solution is you can create one VM like let's say I am creating the VM with same name, because we are going to map this hard drive. This version is we are going to change it to 19. So that means first we can just select this VM, remove from inventory, but don't delete from the disk. Just select remove from inventory. When you select remove from inventory, it is removed. Now I'm just adding a disk, create a new virtual machine. But this new virtual machine must be created with a lower version. So lower version means how we can create is, while creating the virtual machine, you can just select the new VM. Let's say the virtual machine name is test01. Okay. Currently we are on a ESX8, but if you want to create on lower version, just create a new virtual machine here. Let's say the VM name is test01. Click on next, next, and while selecting, select the data store. Click on next, next. So guest voice is default option. Click on next. See, when you see here, instead of adding the new disk, but here you can just remove this option, remove the device, because we are just creating a virtual machine only. Click on next. We are not creating a disk. We just remove the disk. Click on finish. When you see here, the test VM is created, but when you go to the virtual machine, edit settings, there is no hard drive. While adding the hard drive, select the hard disk. Instead of selecting the hard disk, we have to choose existing hard disk. So select the existing hard disk, choose our data store, and look for a test01 folder. When you select the test01 folder, there is a disk file. So select the disk file, click on OK. Click on OK. Now the test01 is mounted. See, currently version is 19 and the disks also mounted. Okay, this is the another method of downgrading the virtual machine version from hardware version from 20 to 19. So this is the one. Create a new VM required hardware version and attach the existing hard disk. I already shown you how we can attach the existing disk. Okay. And the third option, use the vCenter converter. In our previous sessions, I talk about vCenter converter, how to convert physical machine to virtual machine and virtual machine to virtual machine. But here the scenario is when you are using a vCenter converter from source to destination, the source version is VM hardware version 20, while sending to the destination ESX host, you have in the destination option, you can have an option to downgrade it to the 19th version or lower versions. Okay, that is an option for step 3. Okay, so you can use either solution 1, solution 2, or solution 3. And the last but not the least, the fourth option is the most easiest option. So instead of going to 1, 2, 3 options, I generally prefer to go with a option 4. This is the best solution for quick solution also. Okay, this option, what they are saying is modify the virtual hardware version in the VM configuration file. VM configuration file means virtual machine name dot VMX file. Generally, VMX file consists of all the virtual machine hardware configuration information. Okay, this file we have to modify. If the hardware version is 20, if you want to downgrade it to 19, 18, 17, or any lower versions, you can just modify within the .vmx file. Okay, this option I will show you now. So log into our lab system. Let me connect to any one of our ESXi hosts. Let's say this test 1 and test 2 we already tested just now. So I'm taking another virtual machine. Let's say OCP helper VM. This helper VM is running with a 20 version. Okay, this 20 version, if you want to modify the configuration file, the only thing is just right click the OCP helper VM. First we have to power off. Let's say shut down guest OS. That is the first step. Once you shut down the guest OS, we have to connect the ESXi host using WinSCP. So I already connected the WinSCP to our ESXi host 3. When we connect to the ESXi host 3, this is the source is Windows system, destination is Linux ESX system. So within the ESX system, we can look for a VMFS shared volumes, VMFS data store, click on volumes. We can look for our data store. Our data store name is Nimble data store. So open the Nimble data store and our powered on VM name is OCP helper 01. So look for a OCP helper 01 VM. If you scroll down here, there is a OCP helper 01 VM. When you open here, there is a all virtual machine files are copied here. Okay, VMX file, VMDK, log file and all. But our main file to modify the hardware version is VMX file. So select the virtual machine, right click, you can choose the edit. So when you click on the edit the VMX file, it will open the VMX file editor. So within this editor, you can look for a virtual machine hardware version. It is showing as 20. So just modify to the 19th 19 and there is a save button, click on save. But this option is available when you use a WinSCP tool, Windows Secure Copy tool. Now it is already saved. Even if you want to double check, just right click again, open, When you open our virtual hardware version modified from 20 to 19. So, but if I select the virtual machine here, let me minimize this console. If I select the OpenShift helper VM within our vCenter, it is still pointing to the version 20. But how it will downgrade is once we power on, the version will change automatically to 19. Okay, we'll observe that point now. So just to power on the helper VM, when you power on helper VM, see if you see the version is modified to 19. Okay. When you compare the solutions 4 steps, the easy method is this is the easy method I personally feel. Just connect to the WinSCP to our ESXi host, go to the specific virtual machine folder, select the VMX, edit and modify the version to whatever the version you want to downgrade. I just shown you the example how we can downgrade from 20 to 19. The same procedure applicable for any of the source version to destination lower versions. Okay, so hope you got this information. And also within these 4 solutions, any solution you can use. I personally prefer the fourth one is the best solution to downgrade the virtual machine hardware version. Okay, so that's it for today. Thank you for your time. If you're watching this video first time, please do view, like, share and subscribe to the Gnan Cloud Garage channel. If you're already subscribed, I appreciate all your support. Bye for now.